The following is an exclusive presentation of WI Garden Media, the voice of Garden Talk Radio. Coming up on the program today, it's our final show of Season 6. We'll be discussing some of the dishes that we make with the produce that comes out of the garden, as well as what we do outside of gardening, some of our hobbies. Our guest is author Ryan McEnaney, and we'll give some thank yous out. The hour is full, so sit back and join us.
You are listening to the most informationally packed hour of garden-focused radio in the country and on the internet with your host, husband and wife team Joey and Holly Baird. This is the Gardening with Joey and Holly radio show.
And welcome to the final episode of the Gardening with Joey and Holly radio show here for Season 6. We're happy that you've joined us, whether you're listening to us on one of the 17 AM and FM frequencies broadcasting our program here in 2022, through a radio app, through our parent website, with the WisconsinVegetableGardener.com. Under the Season 6 tab at the top of the page, however you're doing it, in-studio video replay, podcast replay. Thank you very much for being with us and being with us for the entirety of Season 6. I'm your host, Joy Baird. Beside me is my wife, co-host, best friend, and gardening partner,
Holly Baird.
This program is for you, about you, to help your garden grow better, to maintain your landscape, grow healthier trees, make your grass look greener, as well as preserving what you grow. You want to be part of the program? You can send us an email at gardentalkradio@gmail.com. That's gardentalkradio@gmail.com. Or if you'd like to give us a call on the Proclamation Hotline brought to you by Proclamation Goods, that number is 1-800-927-SHOW. 1-800-927-7469. And that number will be open and available all through our off-season.
Proclamation Goods creates cookware for the eco-conscious home chef. Their pans are non-toxic, have a lifetime warranty, and are made in Wisconsin. Their award-winning stainless steel Proclamation Duo cookware set is a 12-inch skillet and a stock pot that doubles as a wok. Best of all, skillet and stock pot hinge together to form a Dutch oven. It's 2 pans with the versatility of 10, empowering you to cook more with less. If you care about your health and strive for a more sustainable lifestyle, then Proclamation Goods is for you. Supply is limited, so order yours now at proclamationgoods.com.
Well, there is a number of dishes in which you can make with the produce coming out of your garden. We're going to go over several of ours. Now, we're not going to specifically break down each recipe and give you precise measurements. If you are interested in any of these dishes, you can send us an email to gardentalkradio@gmail.com, and we'll send you the detailed information in regards to that. But Holly, we'll start with you.
Right, so I make this pasta dish, and the sauce is basically butter, and then tomatoes. I don't know how many tomatoes, just kind of whatever looks right. Garlic and Italian seasoning, and you could add a little parsley if you wanted to, Italian parsley. And I just I saute the garlic in the butter. I add the tomatoes, add the Italian seasoning. If you are a mushroom person, you can add mushrooms, you can add shrimp, you can add chicken, but on its own, it's delicious.
This is a meal of itself.
Well, you add pasta.
I know you add pasta to it, but you're not. This is the whole everything in one pan.
Yeah.
One pan dish.
Well, you cook the pasta separately, but yeah.
You really one pan dish. Yeah.
I don't think you can just cook pasta and butter.
No,
you gotta boil the noodles.
But everything goes in one. By the time it all mixes in with the noodles and the pasta, and any specific type of pasta is better than the other.
I like a rotini or like a cavatappi, like a fusilli Jerry. Yeah. Okay, so you want to talk about your tomato creamy paste?
Yeah. What I do is when we have cherry tomatoes and we have them growing in our grow room, they're 18 months old. They are Tiny Tim tomatoes growing in Root Maker grow bags with Happy Leaf LED grow lights over top of them. We planted them, about March 9th of 2021, and about 18 months old. Every month we get a harvest off of them approximately, and when we get about a cup and a half, maybe 2 cups of these cherry tomatoes, I will take and put a little cream, a little butter in a saucepan, and then throw those tomatoes in there, and they will get hot and they will pop or break apart. If they need a little help, I'll smash them. And add a little salt, a little pepper. What you're doing is I'm creating a tomato paste, tomato sauce, creamy tomato sauce, which can be lathered on garlic bread or toasted bread. is really about the only thing that we have used it on, and there's slather. It's not a measurement per se. It's throw some tomatoes in, add a little cream, let that cook down, add a little butter, a little salt and pepper, break the tomatoes down. The juices will all kind of mix together, and you let it kind of go to almost a paste-like consistency, and it's very, very good. Now, if you have dietary or dairy issues, you can use a lactose-free milk, and that will substitute as...
You could even use like a non-sweetened almond milk too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that creaminess, if you use pure, heavy whipping cream, that adds a little more density to the dish.
It's richer.
Yes.
Right. So this is my other suggestion, and this is something that we enjoy, is making BLTs, and you're like, that seems pretty obvious. Tomatoes from the garden, but we kind of make a well, not anymore. I only pretty much eat low sodium bacon, but we used to get like that super Applewood
smoked bacon.
Yeah. And maybe next year we will again. But it's delicious, and I think that when you get your first tomatoes or your last tomatoes, like we did this year, to get some delicious bread, or maybe make your own bread, and then you can have a delicious BLT.
Well, the key to a proper BLT?
What?
Mayonnaise distribution.
Oh.
Yeah. Holly has the issue of, this looks good. And it's like, not even enough for a baby. And then she goes, I'll put a little bit more on. And it's just running all over the plate. It's hard to get the proportional distribution right on that or any condiment.
He's complained about this since, I think, before we were married.
Yeah, you just cannot seem to get mustard, mayonnaise, ketchup. It doesn't matter.
I don't know why he thinks he's going to get better. Yeah.
Now, it's another thing. I mean, there's people listening to our program that are homesteaders that make their own bacon. Mm-hmm. They grow their own lettuce and tomatoes and bake their own bread.
Yeah, absolutely. So that kudos to you for that.
And another thing that's really good that a baked potato fresh out of the garden. You can get a baked potato from the store. It's great. You've not had good potatoes or baked potatoes until you've harvested them out of the garden and then cooked them.
Absolutely. So then Joey also makes us green beans with pecans and butter.
So you take the green beans and you cut the ends off, and then you can either make them large or as small chunks of green beans as you would like. About 2 tablespoons of butter into a saucepan. What's the big pan? Not the saucepan. The soup.
Like a kettle.
Kettle.
Yeah.
And then you about 2 tablespoons of butter. Saute them until the green beans get tender, and then add whatever amount of pecans you think that you would like, and let that butter and the pecans cook for a little bit. You got to watch it so the pecans don't burn, and then you can serve it as a side dish. Very nice. If you've never tried butter, green beans, and pecans before, you're missing out. And I don't think it would work well with like walnuts or peanuts or anything. I think it has to be that pecan.
I think you could make walnuts work, but there's something just about like the depth of flavor, because pecans are rich, but they also kind of have like a sweetness to them almost.
They're very versatile.
Yeah, they're very versatile, and I know that is quite delicious. And then roasted Brussels sprouts.
Yes.
And a lot of people are like, I had Brussels sprouts. And you probably had some overcooked, steamed, or
you were
boiled.
probably bent over the table and forced it down your throat as a child, and that's why you don't like them, because they were store-bought and they were junk.
Right, and frozen, whatever. So roasted Brussels sprouts, when you get those fresh Brussels sprouts, you just kind of shake them up in some olive oil, put whatever flavorings you like on them.
Cheese?
Not cheese, I'm talking about spices.
Okay.
I like the Forward mix from Penzeys, if you've ever had those.
Walton's has got good mixes.
Walton's has good mixes. And then you can explore, think about what would taste good.
Farmers markets right now is a good time to get those if you don't have them growing.
Right, and then you roast them in your oven.
Air fryer? Air fryer, yeah.
Yeah, so it's delicious.
And they melt in your mouth if you do it right. If you cook them right, because oftentimes you're overcooking them or you're undercooking them, and you're trying to chew through them like you're trying to eat a golf ball, and they're not pleasant. And especially the store-bought ones, which was harvested who knows how long ago, and they are already they're already going downhill quick.
Absolutely. And I think that, that's something to keep in mind is that...
But that's the thing. If you've never had a good experience with a Brussels sprout, go to your local farmer's market. How can they find a farmer's market in their area, Holly?
You can go to, I just had the name of the website, localharvest.org, I believe. I can look real quick here.
Okay. And then you just buy, a small quantity of them to make sure that, what we're telling you is accurate. And then you will have the more positive experience in regards to eating Brussels sprouts.
Okay, localharvest.org. You can also call your city hall, city municipality. Mm-hmm. They'll have that information.
And we're getting in the time where we're transitioning from summer farmers markets to winter farmers markets.
Right. Sometimes you can go to your local organic food store. They might know. So there's lots of ways to find a farmer's market.
City Hall, you think, would be the best direction to go with?
Right. Or even if a lot of people are in community groups on their Facebooks, like I belong to this community or this mm-hmm. city, you can ask there as well. Or if there's a winter's farmers market, that's popular, becoming more popular too now.
Well, what for people who are, everybody knows, summer farmers market, what is typically at a winter's farmers market that maybe people wouldn't be aware of?
Root crops, a lot of meat. Sometimes you'll find grains. And then a lot of times there'll be...
Like flour and that type of thing?
Yep. Okay. Sometimes there will be like prepared food that you can purchase, but you can purchase it like frozen prepared food, if that makes sense. Like
ready to go.
Yeah, things like that. And from winter's farmers markets will often have some sort of maybe like live music or entertainment, so that you kind of...
Are these typically indoors or just over like a pavilion type of thing?
Indoors.
Okay, they are most time in an indoor facility.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, those are some of the things that we enjoy, just a small snippet of things that we enjoy making with the things that come out of our garden. I'm sure you have a cookbook thick of recipes that you like to prepare for yourself or your family. If you'd like to know more about that, you can certainly send us an email, gardentalkradio@gmail.com. And to get your spices and a large selection of spices at a discount, Walton's Incorporated has that for you.
Yeah, Walton's, you can get all the equipment, seasoning, and supplies to make sausage, jerky, any other meat product your way to your high standards. If you want to make some snack sticks that people will actually like, Walton's created meatgistics.com, an informational site to help you make the best finished product. They have decades of experience in the meat processing industry, and then they also have all of these different spices, Excalibur seasonings, the ones that the professional processors use.
And they work fine on vegetables.
Absolutely. They have their own full line of meat grinders, mixers, sausage stuffers. If you go to waltonsinc.com, and you can use code GROW50 to save 10% off orders of $50 or more and get free shipping.
And that coupon code will be valid through the end of the calendar year. GROW50 to save 10% on your order of orders of over $50. Well, when we come back, hang out with us. Holly and I are going to go over and tell you a little bit about who we are and what we do outside of the garden in regards to our hobbies. You're tuned in to the Gardening with Joey and Holly radio show.
Got a question for Joey and Holly? Send it via email anytime to gardentalkradio@gmail.com.
It's time to get excited for our fall season. Tree-Ripe delivers the best Oregon pears, Wisconsin Honeycrisp apples, and Florida citrus you'll ever eat, directly from the farm within days of being picked. Their pears and apples can be delivered directly to your home, and you can find their citrus at over 200 orange stops throughout the Midwest. This winter, all the event details and ordering information can be found on their website, tree-ripe.com. And an extra bonus for you listeners, get apples and pears delivered right to your house with 10% off your purchase by using coupon code HOLLY10, Holly10. The discount's only available for home delivery.
Pomona's Universal Pectin is a high-quality pectin that gels reliably with low amounts of any sweetener. If you're trying to reduce the amount of sugar in your diet, you'll love Pomona's Universal Pectin. Now you can make healthy homemade jams and jellies sweetened to your taste. You can use sugar or honey to sweeten. Pomona's Universal Pectin keeps indefinitely when stored in an airtight container. Easy to use, versatile, and comes with directions and recipes in every box. Find out more and where to buy at PomonaPectin.com. Also available at natural food stores and online.
Are you seeing fruit flies in your kitchen? Fruit flies love a fall harvest. They hitch a ride into your house on the fresh veggies and fruits you are picking. Break the breeding cycle with fruit fly traps from Rescue. Rescue fruit fly traps are reusable and an economical way to keep fruit flies at bay. They're the only trap with a no-spill design, and only the Rescue fruit fly traps are made in the USA. Learn more about them at rescue.com. That's RESCEU.com. Take the guesswork out of composting with hot bin composting. Quickly break down food scraps within 30 to 90 days. Find out more at hotbincomposting.com. Thanks for listening to the Garden with Joe and Holly radio show. As you've heard through the program, many companies offering coupon codes to help you save on great products. If you've missed any of those coupon codes, you can go to our parent website, the WisconsinVegetableGardener.com, and click on the Money tab at the top of the page, and they're all listed for you. The Gardening with Joey and Holly radio show is brought to you by the following: Pro Plugger, Chip Drop, Bellbuster, Johnny Appleseed, Ivy Organic, Milkweed Balm, Walton's Incorporated, Bloomin' Easy Plants, Jung Seeds. Find all sponsors at the WisconsinVegetableGardener.com and thank them for their support. Welcome back to the Gardening with Joe and Holly radio show. Happy you're with us for our final show of season 6. Moments away, we are going to discuss some of the things that we do outside of the garden. But first, inside of the garden, Tree Diaper is the device that you need to keep your plants healthy, happy, and hydrated, whether they're in containers, raised beds, or inside.
Tree Diaper is a revolutionary watering system that slowly releases water around the base of any tree or plant as the soil dries. The Tree Diaper is filled with water from rain or when you water and slowly releases water over 3 weeks' time. No overwatering or underwatering with the Tree Diaper. Every time it rains, Tree Diaper recharges. No pipes, hoses, or electricity needed. Water your plants and trees while they're down by the house, down the road, or in the back 40. Also works under mulch. Whether you're a first-time gardener or advanced, Tree Diaper will improve the way you water your plants. Made in the USA, check out all the sizes they have available at treediaper.com. That's treediaper.com.
Treediaper.com, a tool that everybody needs for their garden. Well, Holly, we've got time here to kind of chit-chat with those of you that are diligent and listening, and we appreciate that. We're going to go over some of the things that we do outside of the garden. We don't spend 24/7 in the garden. Sometimes with regards to the radio show, we kind of spend 24/7 sometimes making that happen during the off season, so we can come back next year. But
there's some things that we do together
and by ourselves. Yes.
Yep. So one thing we do together is camp.
Yes.
We tent camp.
Yeah, we don't. Mm-hmm. We
or some people call it car camping.
But we physically have a large tent that we set up and either go to state parks and or hip camps. And a hip camp is a what? What is so funny?
Nothing. It's funny to me because I taught you about hip camp.
Yes.
And you love it.
Well, it's a very it's slightly more than a state camp, but the isolation and the privacy outweighs the cost. And if you want to find out more about hip camp or state park camping and all that, we do have a secondary YouTube channel. You just go to YouTube and search Time by the Tent, and we've got about 18 videos up there documenting some of our camping tips and our journeys in regards to camping. And we watch, and here's the thing, that we watch a lot of campers. We watch a lot of gardening stuff on the YouTube, mm-hmm. and we watch a lot of camping people on the YouTube. And there's a certain camper, will remain nameless, but every single video, he doesn't have what he needs.
No, he's always forgetting something.
He literally drives 2 or 3 hours in some instances to go camp, and he doesn't have paper towels, or he forgot the food, or he forgot this, or he doesn't have that. When we go camping, and we literally take 10 things more than we possibly could ever need. So we have everything to enjoy the overnight or the 2 nights and 2 days that we spend at these places.
Right. And
we're hoping that does change. The plan is that we are looking to purchase recreational land.
Even if we bought land, we would still have to bring things.
Oh, yeah.
And
there'd be less things because some things could be staying at the property.
Right. So camping,
which now you camped as a child.
I grew up tent camping.
Yeah. Apparently it was horrible.
It wasn't horrible. There was just times that it was not as fun as other times. But
and see, I grew up on a farm and had a building which converted into a cabin. I stayed there, and me and the guys, we would go out and hunt. So it was a little different.
It was that is different,
but still outdoors.
I love state parks. Joey makes fun of me because I'll say like I love state parks, but I do love state parks. But Joey and I camped at the beginning of October in a hip camp, and we were and it was a walk-in site, and we didn't see anybody. Well, we happened to see kind of one person.
They were walking by the creek, there's a giant trail around the property, but we'd heard them, but that was about it. Right,
for almost 3 days, and it was just perfect. It was perfect. And growing up state park camping, when you're a kid, you don't realize that you can be very close to other campers. You don't realize it when you're a kid because you don't think about that stuff. But when you're an adult, all of a sudden, you look over and just past the brush, you can see
2 parking spots over. There's another family there, and with a screaming kid or a loud radio, and that's enjoyable all night long.
Right. So, and yes, the camps do have quiet hours, whatnot. Doesn't mean people abide by them.
Nope,
but
that doesn't mean a thing.
So, yes, you do pay a little bit more for hip camp, but for me, somebody who enjoys nature, speaking of enjoying nature, I like to hike. Mm-hmm. I go to different locations, some old, I'll find some new. I do this once or twice a month.
Are these on public land? Is this
state parks, county
these
parks?
These are on, state parks.
Etc.
Okay.
Yeah.
And now you do have to have you have to have a permit to get on these lands, right?
The state parks, yeah. County parks typically not, and then land trusts you don't either. But yeah, something I enjoy quite a bit, and it's something that I typically will do by myself. I think I've drug you maybe on like 2 hikes, and that was one was at a nature preserve. So that's one thing I enjoy.
Now you use hiking sticks.
Yeah, we're going to talk about this. I use hiking poles.
And
I had one pair of hiking poles they were not the best. They kept
collapsing
basically.
Rescinding on themselves because they're telescopic.
But to be fair, they were like 5 years old, and they were very, very cheap when I bought them. So I recently upgraded to some better ones, and I'm very pleased with that. And
what is the benefit to hiking poles?
So for me, it helps give me balance.
Does it take certain amount of, when you look at the science, does it take a certain amount of tension or weight off your knees because you're kind of putting weight on them as you're walking?
I mean, it could.
Okay.
I don't use them continuously, but I do use them when I'm going up and down inclines, declines, etc. And then when I've hiked in the snow, used them.
Which you're wanting to do snowshoeing.
I'm wanting to do snowshoeing. That brings me to my other, it's not really a hobby, it's more of a lifestyle. As I go to the gym, and now I am training myself for snowshoeing, just increasing my leg strength and balance a little bit and things like that.
If you've snowshoed and you think it's a horrible thing, email us, gardentalkradio@gmail.com. Let us know your experience.
Yeah, let me know before I invest in some snowshoes.
Right, or what ones to get.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I've done research on that.
Okay.
Yeah. Because when you are, I'm not a tiny, I'm short, but I'm thick.
Right.
And you want larger snowshoes to offset the weight.
The distribution of the, things that we do together, we collect radios. We finally found the one radio we'd been looking for about a year. It was the RCA Victor 19K, K19. I forget the movement of that.
I know, but it's gorgeous.
It's a 1940s. We had to go down 3.5 hours south of the studio to get it, which we were in transit to go to a different destination. So it wasn't, we had planned it. We'd watched it on Marketplace for a month because it didn't make sense to do a 4-hour round trip for this one radio. And we have a Crosby, we have an RCA Victor, we have a Crosberg Carlson, we've got some Zenus and some other radios that we have collected. We're out of room, but we finally got that one. We were wanting that RCA Victor K19, 19K. I can't remember it's either 19K or K19. Beautiful radio.
Yeah, it's beautiful. It has some nice mid-century modern details to it.
It's got the racetrack dial, horse track dial is what they call it. And then we also collect canning jars. Not like, we go to a yard sale, let's get the 50 here. We're looking for very unique, different Odyssey type of canning jars. The big decoratorial 4-gallon, 2-gallon, 1-gallon. We've got one full set of those. Those came out in the 90s. We're still looking for a couple to complete another set. Blue jars, wire rack, different things. that we do. And then, like we talked about earlier, we will watch YouTube, camping, gardening, obviously gardening, but camping as well.
So what's one of your hobbies?
When time allows, we'll watch NASCAR. You do that a little bit yourself too. If anybody's followed NASCAR this year with the new Gen 6 car, they've got some issues that they've got to work out before they start really damaging these drivers beyond what they're already doing now. So I've kind of paid attention to that, but that's not a priority. Obviously, with the radio show and trying to make a little time for yourself, if you get time to watch it, that's great. If not, you look at the highlights. And there's other things to do on a nice fall afternoon when it's 75 degrees and sit inside for 3 hours and watch a race, because those days are very limited now. You may be already in some place where it's already snowing and you don't have any more 75-degree days. So,
absolutely. And then,
well, you're a cat mom. We've talked about this. We've referenced Tex. That is a cat, not our child.
Tex is our cat.
Yeah, tuxedo cat.
He's a tuxedo cat, and he's fun. He's a fun cat.
He's a happy nut.
He's a happy nut. He's sassy and
He's
sweet.
the Barney Fife of cats.
I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Barney Fife was a wiry guy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Tex is very wiry.
He is very wiry.
Likes things with feathers.
He loves toys with feathers.
If we had a pet chicken, that chicken wouldn't have feathers in 2 hours after we had the chicken.
Anything with feathers, he's all about that life. And somebody told me that feathers can be bad for cats, but that's only if your cat swallows them.
If they just lick them and play with them, they're okay. But they start consuming them.
I don't think I've ever seen Tex eat a feather. I usually, if one gets loose, I try to pick it up and get away from it as fast as possible. But yeah, he loves people food.
You're not supposed to do that.
Not that we give him people food all the time, but every once in a while, a little bit of chicken or something, and we give him that. But he's very curious about all the things. And apparently when I leave and Joey's here, he climbs all over Joey. So I don't know.
But now with cats or dogs, if you are or thinking about bringing one into your family, there are certain things that a cat could eat that a dog can't, and a dog can eat that a cat can't eat. And if they do consume them, it can kill them. That is just the reality of it. You've got to be very careful what crumbs may fall on the floor, if they lick them up, that type of thing. You got to be careful about what species, what animal or pet you're bringing in for that particular reason.
And plants. Luckily, Tex doesn't eat plants, but
he's a cardboard chewer.
He likes that's pretty normal too. It's like a natural
stress relief,
something like that. Yeah. So we have our cat Tex, and
he does not go camping with us.
No, he does not.
I think we don't know if he could or not. I think he would. I don't know.
Right. And then we have, normal things we do, like watching some TV, and especially during winter. And, sometimes we go shopping for camping stuff together. So.
And doing our normal stuff. I do the radio show preparation and sponsor gathering and all that goes on. We'll talk about a little bit more of that in the fourth segment. Do that full time, and Holly does a full-time job from in-home, so that saves a commute there. So that's a little bit about what we do outside of the gardening. So another thing, Holly, is winter is very close and fall is here. And there is still a little time left to get your yard prepared, because those Japanese beetles will be back next year if you don't do something now.
Yeah, just because it's fall, we don't want to forget about our yards and those Japanese beetles either. They may be gone, but they're not far. Not only did they feast on your roses and berries this summer, they laid eggs in your turf, so they can start again next year. You can take a stand with Phylum's Grub Gone. Grub Gone is a non-chemical BT granular that specifically targets scarab pests and their larvae. Simply apply the granule with a spreader, irrigate it into the soil, and let the naturally occurring bacteria do its job. Not
only is Grub Gone easy to use, but it's the only non-chemical choice that effectively controls grubs. And the best part about it, it's non-toxic to pollinators, beneficial insects like butterflies, bees, and other pollinational insects. Grub Gone has no label restriction around flowers, and you can use it without worrying that any insects will pick it up and take it back and damage their colony. Grub Gone. Get it at BeetleGone.com. Go to BeetleGone.com. Use coupon code GardenTalk10 to save 10% on your order for your Grub Gone. Hang out with us. When we come back, author Ryan McEnaney will be with us. You're tuned in to the Gardening with Joey and Holly radio show.
Have a garden question? Give Joey and Holly a call now or anytime 24/7. Just dial 1-800-927-SHOW. If you can't get through, leave a message and they will call you back. Call now 1-800-927-SHOW.
Gutter Sense is an easy-to-use rain gutter cleaning tool made of angled tongs that help you safely clean your gutters from the ground. No more ladders needed. Stay safe on the ground. Visit guttersense.com. Do you have nuts or fruit in your yard? A Nut Wizard is a handy, effective tool that will pick up round or oval tree produce quickly and easily, leaving debris behind for a clean harvest. A Nut Wizard tool saves your back and your time. Visit nutwizard.com for more information. This week's garden tip is sponsored by the amazing Dr. Zymes. Eliminate and prevent garden pests with their 100% all-natural, all-in-one insecticide and fungicide. Experience powerful natural protection from insects, fungus, mold, and mildew. Try a free sample. Visit drzymes.com/garden talk. The amazing Dr. Zymes is non-toxic, which means you do not need special clothing when using or handling it. No need for long sleeves, respirators, special gloves, or even a whole hazmat suit. You can safely apply it without concern for what may happen to you or your skin or your plants. And it's highly concentrated, so a little goes a long way. Eliminate mites, thrifts, aphids, and fungal gnats. Dr. Zymes is OMRI listed, safe up to the day of harvest, and doesn't leave a residue. Safe for you and your plants. That helpful garden tip was sponsored by the amazing Dr. Zymes. Eliminate and prevent garden pests with their 100% all-natural, all-in-one insecticide and fungicide. Experience powerful natural protection from insects, fungus, mold, and mildew. Try a free sample. Visit drzymes.com/garden talk. Hey gardeners, it's that time of growing season, so let's start canning. Head over to Fleet Farm for all of your canning supplies and jam mixes. In one easy stop, find everything you need, like jars, lids, canners, strainers, racks, spatulas, and funnels from top brands like Ball and Kerr. Plus, pick up mixes, sugar, and more. When it comes to canning, get everything you need at your canning headquarters, Fleet Farm. With the right tools, plant maintenance is easy and more effective. Ironwood Tool Company has the right tools for your project. From pruners to loppers to saws and shears and cleanup tools, get the right tool for this season, making your job much easier. Find them all at ironwoodtools.com.
Are you bugged by bugs? You need naturally green products, No More Bugs. Environmentally friendly, made in the USA. No More Bugs is a cedar blend that repels and eliminates mosquitoes, ticks, fleas, roaches, and ants, and more. No Bugs is safe for you, your pets, and plants. Visit natgreenproducts.com. You can enter promo code GREENTHUMB10 for 10% off your purchase of any size of No More Bugs. Protect your plants from damage with the 3-in-1 Plant Guard and Special Blend Fertilizer. Visit ivorganics.com. Use promo code RADIO10 to save 10% off your order.
Thanks for listening to the Gardening with Joey and Holly radio show. As you've heard through the program, many companies offering coupon codes to help you save on great products. If you've missed any of those coupon codes, you can go to our parent website, the WisconsinVegetableGardener.com, and click on the Money tab at the top of the page, and they're all listed for you. The Gardening with Joey and Holly radio show is brought to you by the following: Rootmaker, Dripworks, Pomona Universal Pectin, Phylum Bioproducts, Tree Diaper, Chapin Manufacturing Incorporated, Deer Defeat, Water Hoop. Find all sponsors at the WisconsinVegetableGardener.com and thank them for their support. Welcome back to the Gardening with Joey and Holly radio show. Happy you're with us today. Moments away, author Ryan McEnaney. But first, word from our friends at Simple Grow. Holly?
Are you worried about your plant growth? Provide your plants with what they need to grow to their potential. Simple Grow offers 100% organic worm castings. Unlike other worm casting products, when you order from Simple Grow, you're getting 100% worm castings, not filler plus castings. Promote ideal soil structure and aeration with Simple Grow's all-natural and odor-free worm castings. There's only one ingredient, worm castings. No chemicals or additives will seep into your food, and it doesn't smell like other fertilizers. For indoor and outdoor use, you can order by the bag, bundle, ton, or truckload. You can go to simplegrow.com.
Holly, let's go to the Proclamation Hotline, brought to you by Proclamation Goods, and bring in our guest for this week.
Ryan McEnaney is a fifth-generation family member and owner at Bailey Nurseries, a 150-year-old nursery headquartered outside of St. Paul, Minnesota. In his role at the nursery, he has been quoted in a number of nationwide publications, has appeared on many television programs throughout the United States, and travels the country educating homeowners on how to be successful in the garden. His approach revolves around fun, breaking down barriers to gardening, and creating welcoming space to collaborate. His new book, Field Guide to Outside Style, will be out in December. Welcome to the program, Ryan.
Thank you so much for having me.
Well, we thank you for taking time out of your day to not only educate Holly and myself, but all of our listeners. And I'll start with this. You are a fifth-generation nursery owner. Was this something that you wanted to do or felt you had to do, or what was it? Because, if you're a farmer boy, sometimes you feel like you have to take over it, or you own a business and your dad. Was it something that you wanted to do or kind of was forced to, or what was the story there?
So it's really interesting. So many people in my family did have that experience, including our fourth generation, other than one person, which is my mom, who is now fourth generation CEO. She worked outside the business. And so for us in the fifth generation, of which there's only two of us in the business so far, they set a different rule and said, go out, do something else first, so that when you come back into it, you really want to be here. And so my background is not in horticulture. I was an entertainment publicist in LA for a number of years, and then felt that longing, as a good Midwesterner, to come back to Minnesota and get back into the business. So I've been back at Bailey for about 9 years full time now.
But going to Los Angeles, that had to be quite a culture shock, was it?
It was very different. It was a lot different from how I grew up and a lot different from what I do now. But you know what? It was a great experience. And especially for someone that works in marketing and PR, it was really transformative for how I think about engaging people and thinking really big, no matter the budget, and being able to drive some excitement around people and products. So it was a great experience, but I'm very glad to be back digging in the dirt and talking about plants.
Fantastic. Now, in your book, you advise people to have a date night with their garden space before they make changes. So, first of all, what does that mean? And do you think many people overlook this, and why familiarizing yourself with your space, why is that so important?
Yeah, I think that it's really easy just to jump straight into looking at pretty pictures, looking at design plans that are listed online. But for you to have long-term success, you really have to start by understanding what that framework of your garden and what your space offers. And it's, think about like building a house. You have to have that foundation before you can put any walls up, or it's all going to crumble. And so, I try and take things out, make them a little bit more fun and less intimidating, especially if you're new to gardening, you don't consider yourself a gardener, but want that really pretty outdoor space. Or even if you're a master gardener, you really have to understand soil. You have to understand the light, what the exposure is in the different parts of your yard. But, if you just think about it in that framework, it's maybe not that exciting. And so I approached it as doing day dates or night dates at home and making an event around each of those different key characteristics of understanding your space. And so you can have a little bit of fun with it. Then you can break down, again, some of those barriers, so not so scary, and understand what the boundaries, or as I like to think about them, the opportunities of your yard, what that offers, because ultimately that's what's going to set those guardrails for what you're able to use. If you've got a full shade garden, you're maybe not going to have that beautiful, colorful cottage garden that you were thinking about with all the flowers. Doesn't mean you can't have color and texture and excitement, but it might just change how you approach it. So making sure that you really understand that at the beginning is really important to ultimately set yourself up for success, because no one wants to get in and start doing it and put all that work and time and energy and money into it and then fail because you saw a pretty picture online, but maybe you saw a picture from a zone 8 garden and you're like me in zone 4. That's not going to work year over year. So having that understanding, that foundation, is really, really important to start off with.
And as a nursery owner, obviously you like people when they come and buy stuff, but you would want them to buy once, have a good experience, and not go have to buy 6 or 7 plants because they keep buying the wrong plant for the wrong place.
Exactly. Yeah, it is. It's all about place. You're spot on. And yeah, we don't want people to fail and then feel like they have to come back out of necessity. We, especially how I like to approach design and teaching people how to play with plants, is have them have success first and want to come back and find a really cool companion plant. Or say you've maybe got a space that's already a little bit filled up, then let's do a deco pot. Let's find a way to build in annuals or edibles into the space so that it's a fun, enjoyable experience rather than getting frustrated around it.
Well, tell us more about your book, Field Guide to Outdoor Style. What is something unique or intriguing that our listeners would want to pick up the book? And I believe the book is available on pre-order right now. Is that correct?
It is. It's available for pre-order now, just about anywhere. Amazon, Target, Barnes & Noble, on my website, ryanplants.com. But my approach, again, is to try and have some of that fun with it. And so starting with those date nights, again, that just helps familiarize yourself with it. But the other piece of what I really try to do with this book, especially, again, for those newer non-gardeners, they're like, how do you even start digging into all of this design? Because it can be really overwhelming. Is really just helping you understand what your aesthetic is. And it might be what you appreciate about furniture, fashion, finding ways of how you connect and how you see the world around you and what you really appreciate. And then how do we draw that into what you're doing in the garden? Because again, you might not know where to start, and you do a lot of Googling, you do a lot of magazine reading, listen to radio shows, but it's like, okay, what's step number one? And so if we can get people to understand what it is that they really appreciate aesthetically about the world around them, then from there, dig into like, what does my space allow me to do? Then from there, what I help people do is we have a whole section on guardrails, which is like kind of not always the sexy stuff. Like you have to talk about budget and you have to talk about all the hardscaping and all those things that are really, really important. But then what I do is I take people through different personalities to help, again, sort of narrow that focus. Like, do you like this really beautiful wild space? Do you like a little bit more refined? Or do you like very clean lines, simplistic plantings, very modern, very chic? And then from there, help build out some recipe cards. So again, I want to make this really, really easy for you. It doesn't matter where you live in the country. It doesn't matter what that design style is. We break that down into those recipe cards that will help you get a really solid plant list to start from that is relevant for you. So say you don't want to spend a ton of money. You don't ultimately want to do that much work. You live in zone 4, zone 5, and you really like a native planting style. There's going to be recipe cards in the book for you. If you live on the total opposite extreme, there's going to be recipe cards in there for you too. So again, trying to make it really digestible, really, really fun for you to be able to get in and connect with that personality type. Just makes it a little bit more approachable and fun. And then with the layout of the book, it's, if you just want to flip through because you've got 5 minutes, go to those recipe card pages, see what you are drawn to. If you've got an hour or two, dig in and read some of it. So it gives you a little bit of both of those approaches that helps make it a really digestible book.
Fantastic. So what are some common outside garden design mistakes people will often make?
I think one of them is kind of like I mentioned earlier, that it's easy to go scroll through Instagram, go to a website and say, oh, there's a garden design. I'm going to go to the garden center and I'm going to get everything that's listed on there. Because again, you don't always know where to start. So that's one that can be really, really challenging and really frustrating. So again, have to dig in, understand what your space offers, how much time you really want to invest in it, not only today, but next month, next year, 2 years down the line, and understand that space. And then number two, I think one of the other things that I talk about with people a lot is really understanding what the plants do, because you might see them in a garden center and they're in a 2-gallon pot and they're 18 inches tall. And you say, that looks great and that fits. Well, 3 years down the line, it might be 6 feet tall and totally overtaking a space. Or think of something like an azalea that needs acidic soil. Here in Minnesota, I've got really alkaline soil, so it just isn't going to thrive. So understanding the plants is another piece that's really, really important, in addition to understanding what your space has to offer.
Well, I want to touch on this before we let you go. You grow a lot of hydrangeas. How many varieties of hydrangeas are there, and what is the biggest mistake you're seeing people make when they're trying to grow them?
Well, there are hundreds of varieties that you can't even start to count. There are a couple books though that you could find. Dr. Michael Durr has a great new book out. He's sort of like the godfather of hydrangeas in North America. So he's one that you might be able to find in the book that lists all the varieties. But what I would say is that there are four main species of hydrangea. The big leaf hydrangea, which is like the endless summer, that classic Nantucket, Cape Cod hydrangea with the big, beautiful, colorful blooms. That's a really big one. Another one, panicle hydrangeas, those cone-shaped flowers. That's like a vanilla strawberry, berry white, little hottie. Those are another one of my favorites, especially for those of us in colder climates. The oak leaf hydrangea, which the leaf looks like an oak, blooms a little bit earlier, native to North America, great fall color, really, really amazing. And then smooth hydrangea, like an Annabelle. So those are the four main types. And when you ask about where people struggle, that's the first most important thing, is understanding what type of hydrangea you have, because all of the care tips depend on that. And they're different. A big leaf hydrangea, for example, you don't want to cut back in fall because they bloom traditionally on the previous season's growth. So if you cut them back, you're not going to get any flowers the next year, unless you have a rebloomer like Endless Summer, which there's a new one coming out next year called Pop Star, which is a flower power machine. But even still, if you cut it back in fall, you're going to miss that whole first set of blooms. So having that understanding around what type of hydrangea is first and foremost, and then from there, you can figure out the care tips.
Great. Well, we've really enjoyed having you on the program, Ryan. How can people find out more about you? And I know you talked about how to get your book earlier, but why don't you remind everybody?
Yeah. Well, thank you so much. I really, really appreciated being here and had so much fun chatting with you guys. But if you want to find out more, you can find me on Instagram, Ryan Plants Plants, and same for the website, ryanplantsplants.com. So you'll be able to find the book there, but also tons of videos and other helpful tips that we produce. And I'll be out doing a bunch of tours all around North America as well. So you can hopefully find me in your neighborhood over the next 6-7 months.
Well, Ryan, we greatly appreciate the time you've offered us and the education that you provided in our short period of time, and we thank you for that.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Absolutely. And when we come back, it's time for some thank yous. It's the last segment of Season 6. You're tuned into the Gardening with Joey and Holly radio show.
Got a question for Joey and Holly? Send it via email anytime to gardentalkradio@gmail.com.
Jung Seed Company is a family-owned and operated gardening company since 1907 with the largest selection of seeds and plants online. Use code 10TG22 to receive 10% off your order at jungseed.com. That code again is 10TG22.
Chip Drop is a website you can sign up for free wood chip mulch delivery right to your door for free. Chip Drop connects homeowners and gardeners with tree services who are trying to get rid of their wood chips. You can also sign up to get free logs and firewood. Go to chipdrop.com to learn more and sign up for a free account. Rootmaker starts your plants off right and keeps them going through harvest. From their seed starting trays with an innovative design that air prunes the roots to their large variety of grow bags, 1 to 60 gallons. Their products will provide you with the harvest that you've never seen before. Visit rootmaker.com and use coupon code RADIO22 to save 15% off your order. That's rootmaker.com. Brought to you by Blue Ribbon Organics, providing locally made organic compost and soil blends for gardens, farms, landscaping, and more. Visit BlueRibbonOrganics.com or call 262-497-8539 to find their products nearest you. When winter hits with heavy snowfall and frigid temperatures, your outdoor furniture takes a beating. What you need to do is cover it with custom protective covers from coversandall.com. They have a bunch of waterproof, tear, and abrasion-resistant fabrics to choose from, and each cover is made with waterproof stitching. Covers and All has a lot of customization options, incredibly easy design and order process to make covering any size or shape a snap. Visit coversandall.com and use code GARDEN25 at checkout to save 25% off your purchase. Thanks for listening to the Gardening with Joey and Holly radio show. As you've heard through the program, many companies offering coupon codes to help you save on great products. If you've missed any of those coupon codes, you can go to our parent website, the WisconsinVegetableGardener.com, and click on the Money tab at the top of the page, and they're all listed for you. The Gardening with Joey and Holly radio show is brought to you by the following: Tree Ripe, Covers and All, Ironwood Tool Company, Timber Pro Coatings, Blue Ribbon Organics, Natural Green Products, Algae Men, Dr. Zyme, Happy Leaf LED, Rescue, Big Tool Rack, Hot Bin Composting, Proclamation Goods. Find all sponsors at the WisconsinVegetableGardener.com and thank them for their support. Welcome back to the final segment of the final show of Season 6. Holly, we've made it. You've got a question, you can certainly send it still in to us, and we will get it answered. You can do that on the Proclamation Hotline at 1-800-927-SHOW, 1-800-927-SHOW, or gardentalkradio@gmail.com.
Proclamation Goods creates cookware for the eco-conscious home chef. Their pans are non-toxic, have a lifetime warranty, and are made in Wisconsin. Their award-winning stainless steel Proclamation Duo cookware set is a 12-inch skillet that doubles as a wok. Best of all, the skillet and stockpot hinge together to form a Dutch oven. It's 2 pans with the versatility of 10, empowering you to cook more with less. If you care about your health and strive for a more sustainable lifestyle, then Proclamation Goods is for you. You can go to proclamationgoods.com to find out more and order. So we had a question come in on the Fleet Farm from fleetfarm.com. I have saved many pounds of green tomatoes before the frost killed my plants. What are some options of things that I can do with these green tomatoes? Thank you. So if you Google things to do with green tomatoes, there's a whole list of stuff, recipes, etc. For us, we've done green salsa, fried green tomatoes, green tomato.
Well, isn't there like a chutney or something like that?
Yeah, green tomato chutney. You could do like a green tomato frittata, which is kind of like a omelet type thing. You can add them to salad. You can grill them. Grilling them kind of adds a sweetness, caramelization. So there's some options there.
All right. Well, with that being said, the hotline will be open all off season, and the Gmail account, gardentalkradio@gmail.com, will be open all season as well. So we've got some thank yous to dish out, and we want to start with you for listening and downloading the program. Highest downloads we've had in the 6 years that we've been doing the program, and the plan is we will be back next year, and I'll give you that rundown here shortly.
Right. And then I guess I'm going first with thank you.
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, so I just really appreciate all of the love and support, mostly from my friends, but also my family as well. And I have a really good day job, and it allows me to work from home indefinitely after, initially it started because of the pandemic. And I appreciate that I can work from home, and I have a very understanding, patient boss. My family, my dad went through something this year, and my boss was very understanding about it, so that I'm very grateful for that as well. And I also would like to thank me. I worked on myself in therapy, and I know a lot of people feel that therapy could be a hot button issue, etc., mental health, and I strongly believe that mental health is health. If you take care of your mental health, that is leaps and bounds good way to take care of yourself in so many other ways, and I've really strived for that, and because of that, I have just a lot more joy and happiness in my life, and gives me the opportunity to be a better person for my family and friends, and really just give me a great perspective on how I feel. And I, of course, want to thank Joey. He is, as he calls me, his best friend, gardening partner, something else. What else?
That's right. Best friend, gardening partner. Co-host. And it's reciprocated as well. And I really just, Joey and I will be married for 12 years in December, and we're just partners. So I can't imagine my life without him. So those are my thank yous. All right. Well, we want to thank our Lord and Savior. Without him, we can't do this. And I know some of you might be going, well, I don't have God in my life, and I turned out okay. Just think what would happen if you did have him in your life. This show is it's kind of like farming. Not the actual, gardening aspect of it, but this is an independently created show. We don't come in the studio and sit down and talk for an hour. We have complete control over this show. We spend somewhere around 1,000 hours every year emailing several thousand companies, local and national, in order to pay for the airtime for you to hear us on a weekly basis. And we bring in a couple of people in order to help us with that because of the magnitude of the task of emailing, approximately 20,000 total emails each year in order to do that. And when I tell you, it's kind of like farming, a lot of faith based in this. Faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of the things not yet seen. It's Bible. It's in the Bible. You can look it up and find the context of it in that particular aspect, but it is relevant here as well because you don't know when that next rain is going to come on the farm. You don't know when that next sponsor is going to come. You don't know whom that sponsor is going to be, or if you see something, you reach out to that company. And, it's a whole lot of prayer and giving it to God and letting Him let you know whom He already knows what's going to happen next year. And I know that because of this type of conversation we have on the last segment of the last show of every season, I know this has cost us sponsors in the past because I have sent information to a couple of companies and they said that, our boss listened to that last segment and he wasn't very happy with it, so we're going to pass. That's fine. We did our job. We said what we needed to say, what we're supposed to say. So that's the way it is. So we are scheduled to be back in 2023 for season 7. A couple of things of note: we will not be back on the Fan 590 out of Kirkwood, St. Louis, Missouri. We will not be back on the Word Cleveland, WHKW 1220 AM and 96.9. These are business decisions on our part, whether we were not able to negotiate a rate or they chose to pass on us next year. That's usually how that works. Not going to get into details.
But
yes,
if you do and you've enjoyed listening to us,
we're online.
Right, we're online. And if
every show is documented.
And if online doesn't work for you and you're like bummed that you won't hear us on your weekend morning, then reach out to the station.
Yeah,
you never know.
Yeah, and we can send you the show. For those who are in Cleveland area, we will be on WPIC 790 out of Sharon, Pennsylvania, and Salem, Ohio, WRQX 600 Saturday morning 7 to 8. So that most of you should still be able to capture some of that in that area, and we will be in Joliet. Up into the metropolitan area of Chicago on WJOL 1340 and WXAN 103.9 out of Ava, Illinois, a little southern gospel station we were able to pick up near my home area. So that's some things. Keep in mind, most of these stations, we're going to be on the same time as we were next year, as we are this year for next year. If you've got questions, gardentalkradio@gmail.com. We'll get you all set up for next year. WCRN 830 AM out of the Boston area. You will get encore presentations for the 18 weeks off. I think it's 17 weeks off, Holly. We've never figured that out. We will be back the first week in March of 2023 for Season 7 of the Gardening with Joy and Holly radio show. Want to thank Holly for being my garden partner and radio host and best friend. We want to thank our friend who asked to be remained anonymous for her helping us accomplish some of this by getting them emails out on a regular basis. We thank you for that. You know who you are. It's a pretty big deal whenever you're able to create a program where you have to start employing people in order to make the thing happen because you're getting so big. I think that is a small accomplishment. There's a lot of work and you never stop working, but it's worth the reward. And I've been told that if I don't make this radio thing work, Holly said I've got to get a real job. And from what I've been told by other people, I don't want that.
No.
I don't. Apparently, a real job is not something I want.
I mean, I'm grateful for my quote unquote real job, but yeah, it's sometimes it's just nice to work for yourself, I think.
It's much like farming. There's never a time where, I'm all done. There's always something else to do. And for those of you who enjoy listening to the program, we thank you for that. And many of you will never, and I'm not insulting you when I say this, will never understand how much work goes into a weekly hour radio program. that is independently created by a husband and wife team. We don't have an ad agency. We don't have a big facility that we have people handing us stuff left and right like some of these major radio programs do. This is just us, and we do the best we can. So until next year, Holly, we thank you for listening. You can always check out the archives at the WisconsinVegetableGardener.com. Keep up with that, and we'll keep updating on that as the information comes in. So until next year, for
Holly Baird,
I am Joy Baird. We are the Gardening with Joy and Holly radio show, and we thank you very much for the success that you have provided us and the sponsors that you've purchased here, their products here in 2022.